All right, hey there, my friend, Adam Earhart here, and welcome to this special presentation on how to actually start a profitable digital marketing agency in 2025. We're going to talk about the 5 essential steps to building your very own profitable acquisition agency. This is perfect for beginners. There's no experience required. You're able to work from anywhere. I'm going to show you how to get started, get paid, get clients, and do it all for completely free. There is a lot to cover here, so I say we dive right in. Now, my goal for this presentation is simple. It's to give you literally everything you need to build your agency and sign your first or your next client this week. And not just any client, a high-paying client, the kind of clients that can change your life for the better. I'm also going to identify and brutally destroy every challenge that is holding you back from the financial success you deserve. We need to do 2 things. I need to give you the tools and the strategies in order to succeed, and then I need to help you destroy all of those limiting beliefs, all the sense of imposter syndrome, all the sense of self-sabotage or that you're not worth it. We're going to get rid of all of that and arm you with everything you need to change your life for the better. Now, this training is the real deal. I'm about to show you the exact strategies that I use to build multiple 7-figure agencies that have earned me millions of dollars and given me the freedom to work when I want, where I want, and to have complete control over my schedule. This lifestyle is absolutely possible, and I want it for you as well. There is nothing like it. It's something that I honestly didn't even believe was possible until I started understanding and learning the things that I'm going to be sharing with you here today. So, what are we going to cover? Well, first of all, we're going to talk about why this new acquisition agency model is the key to signing low effort, high paying clients and doing it fast. I'm going to show you the 5 millionaire mindset shifts that every future millionaire has to make. These are non-negotiable. If you do not make these shifts, you will not achieve success. Now, the good news is they're incredibly simple. They're very strategic, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do them. Next, I'm going to give you my Nail Your Niche system to find the easiest, most profitable niche for your agency. This is going to ensure that you're doing the right things in the right place for the right people so you don't have to second guess the decisions that you made. I'll show you the secret to designing a high profit offer that increases your revenue by 4x. Technically, it's closer to 7x to 10x. There's a lot of money to be made here, but let's stay conservative here. We'll just say 4x, and also delivers valuable results every time. Bit of a foreshadow here, but the key is super stack services, and there's another little trick we're going to use as well. Also, how to get clients consistently and predictably using waterfall pricing and a no-fail sales system in order to make sure that you're signing clients without being salesy or pushy or sleazy. This is something that makes it incredibly easy to do and has clients coming up to you, cash in hand, basically saying, take my money and wanting to work with you. Also, as a reward to those that watch this training all the way through to the end, because if you don't watch the training, you won't get the valuable information and strategies that I'm giving away for absolutely free. So to reward those of you that are taking this seriously and are committed to changing your life, well, I'm giving away my complete agency growth system. These are the exact steps that I use to build multiple 7-figure agencies and work with clients like Google and Amazon and Meta and Snapchat and Adobe and Logitech and thousands more. I'm going to be giving you completely set up websites. I'll give you automated client attracting funnels, improving client getting scripts, ready-made templates and frameworks, all bundled into a ready-to-go system so you can start landing clients immediately. And this is all for free. Also, on that note, got nothing to sell here today. Just so you know, nothing to sell. Everything I'm giving you, 100% free, yours to take and to use. My only request is that you do something with this information, because information alone is not going to be enough to change your life. You need to take action on the strategies and on the systems and on everything that I'm going to be giving you here today. All right, so who is this presentation for? Well, for starters, it's for anyone that's stuck in a job that they don't love, ready to break free and build a profitable agency that brings freedom and fulfillment. Whether you're in a 9-to-5 that is just not checking the boxes that you need, whether you have dreams of bigger, better things for you, for your family, for your friends, this is going to be a proven and profitable path for you to take. Next, for struggling agency owners. Maybe you're stuck at 1, 2, maybe 3 clients, but you just can't seem to break past that $10,000 per month mark and then stay there consistently. I'm going to show you how to do that. Also, it's for successful agency owners who are already crushing it. Maybe you're doing 20K a month, 30K a month, 50K a month, maybe even 100K a month, but you want more. You want more clients, you want more growth, and you want more freedom. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Now, what this training is not. First of all, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme or anything like that. It is also not a do nothing but expect to make millions overnight. The results that you're going to see here as we go through this presentation, also have to say, not typical or average. These are the direct result of hardworking entrepreneurs who put in the time and put in the effort and committed to making their lives better. Now, if we haven't met before, real quick introduction. Who am I? Well, my name is Adam Earhart, and I truly believe that starting and growing an acquisition agency is the fastest, the easiest, and the most effective way to make 6 or 7 figures online and achieve true time, location, and financial freedom. The kind of freedom that allows you to work when you want, live where you want, and gives you the freedom and flexibility to live life on your own terms. And here's how I know this. This is why I know this is true. Because 12 years ago, I walked away from a 6-figure dream job after what can only be described as a nervous breakdown. There I am flying a business jet over Europe, well paid, living the dream, at least on the outside, but on the inside, I was miserable. I belonged to someone else. I was doing their work. I wasn't living the life that I wanted. So I quit and then proceeded to build not just one, but multiple 7-figure agencies, which have enabled me to do some pretty amazing things. From building our multi-million-dollar dream house, to traveling the world with my family, to becoming completely financially free, being able to retire in my 30s if I wanted, but don't worry, I have no intention of slowing down anytime soon, as I feel I still have so much to give. And I want to share everything with you here today for 100% free. So, whether, my friend, your goal is to become your own boss and escape the 9-to-5, you want to check something or everything off your bucket list, you want to take care of yourself or your family, you want to achieve financial freedom and build your legacy in the most efficient way possible, well, starting and growing an acquisition agency will help you do that. Now, a few more results to really help drive this home. Started from zero, and I built multiple 7-figure marketing agencies, all from scratch, all from zero, making millions and millions of dollars. My clients include Google, Meta, Amazon, Snapchat, and a ton more. In other words, I've created marketing campaigns for some of the biggest companies in the entire world, so I know what works and I know what doesn't, not only in regards to creating marketing that drives results, but also attracting some of the most discerning and high-quality clients out there. I've also helped thousands of students start and scale profitable businesses and agencies of their very own, and this is why I know it'll work for you too. We've got one of the biggest channels in the agency space, in the marketing space essentially, on YouTube. If you type in marketing, you're going to find one of my videos there. I've been helping people create successful businesses for over a decade now and have done hundreds of trainings and speeches and awards, created dozens and dozens of different programs, helped thousands of students and clients and marketers build agencies and scale them, have won all kinds of different awards and spoken on different stages. And my clients have added over $1 billion to the global economy. Just a real quick flash through of some client results here. Again, we have more testimonials here than I have time to share, but I just want to show you a few to show that this really is worth your time and possible. Like KJ, who went from $3K to $55K a month in just 4 months. He's up actually well over $61K by the time he even recorded that, on his way to $100K a month. Jesse from $4,000 to $20,000 a month. Candace able to hit her revenue goals and gain freedom. Jared able to build an agency, and Eugene's able to do that, and Tyler doing the same, and Armando and Steven, and on and on and on they go. Again, we're going to burn through these really quick because I want to get to the training, but I just want to show you that all of these are real people who have achieved real results with everything that I'm going to share with you today. So, first of all, what are the 3 biggest mistakes new agency owners make? We need to cover these so you can avoid them and overcome them to get clients with confidence. And a big question, why is no one talking about this? This is one of the biggest and most important things to understand so that you can make sure that you succeed moving forward. So the first of all is something I call the Baskin-Robbins agency. Now, if you're not familiar, Baskin-Robbins is an ice cream shop that's famous for having 31 flavors. I feel, though, it's the perfect representation of the modern failing marketing agency, which is trying to do all of these different things and appeal to all of these different people and really just leaving to confusion and muddiness. And if you imagine adding all of these different flavors, you've got chocolate and vanilla and strawberry and pistachio and I don't know, other darker chocolate and bubblegum and tiger and all these things. And you imagine this thing just melting into a big, soupy, gross mess that nobody wants. That, sadly, is the modern agency today. So we've got to make sure that we're being specific in what we do and who we do it for. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have to, this doesn't mean you can't have different interests, passions, skills, things like that. It just means that we're going to be selective when we're doing our marketing in order to attract the best clients. So why is nothing working for the average agency? Don't have a simple yet highly effective marketing strategy that attracts new high-paying clients every single month. Maybe you're reacting to whatever marketing quote-unquote opportunity comes across your plate, most of which are wrong for your business. We call these shiny objects, or chasing the red ball, or the woman in the red dress, the Matrix analogy, or being like the squirrel chasing something that walks by. We need to stay focused on what's going to get you results. In other words, money. Also, you've probably been told you need to do everything and be everywhere, which makes it impossible to even get started. I mean, talk about an overwhelming offer there. And you're spread too thin on marketing channels that none of your clients are even using. Fixing this one issue alone can save you hours each week and hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. The solution, my friend, is not to do more of the wrong thing. It's to get strategic and focused and to do less and therefore make more. All right, mistake number 2, you have zero predictability in your ability to generate new clients. So your primary method of client acquisition is probably some kind of hope marketing. This is word of mouth or referrals. In other words, relying on somebody else to do your marketing for you, but you don't have control over what they do. Also, you have no consistent, repeatable way or scalable process to generate new clients and revenue on demand. I'm talking about if you want to grow your agency and make more money, you have a system and a process that you're able to do and to get more money. It's that simple. Marketing is an investment and a strategic group of actions that we can take to get a result. This is not wishy-washy art where it's subjective and maybe this works, maybe that doesn't. There are processes and they have been proven over decades and decades of different practical applications. All right, you're overwhelmed with the tools and technology, letting that stop you. Again, we can solve all of this. And probably the biggest culprit, wasting time on useless distractions like building a killer website or fixing your logo or making sure your branding's right, rather than what actually matters, which is getting clients. That, my friend, is a recipe for failure. All right, mistake number 3, copy and paste marketing. I want to show you something here that still makes me laugh here. I want you to look at these subject lines. We have an audacious question, an audacious question, an audacious question, and another audacious question. There was actually more. There was probably close to a dozen of these inside of my email inbox. And what these are is these are other agencies or freelancers or somebody trying to get us to do business with them, but they're literally just copying and pasting over an exact template with taking no time, no effort whatsoever to customize it. And when this happens, you get completely ignored because you look the same as everybody else. So we do not want to be doing that. So what happens when we do this? Well, you're no different than anyone else. So your clients have no reason to choose you over your competition. Your messaging becomes either too boring to stand out or too confusing to understand, which is the opposite end of the spectrum. I find most agencies go far too confusing. Your offer isn't irresistible enough to your ideal client. We're going to get to that shortly. Fix it once and for all. And when clients can't tell the difference between different agencies, they make decisions based on price, which forces you to cut costs to compete. And that is not the path that you want to take. If you want to hit financial freedom, we need to charge premium pricing and deliver premium service. We don't want to be nickel and diming and dealing with penny pinchers and tire kickers and pain in the neck clients. Sadly, all of this leads to overwhelm, frustration, lack of direction. This paralyzing fear of where the heck do I start or what should I do next? The feeling of imposter syndrome and being unsure if you're skilled enough, which causes you to stop taking action. And then ultimately blaming your niche and thinking that just choosing another niche will be easier. Maybe if you're in chiropractor, you're like, well, maybe I'll go for dentist. Or if you're in dentist, you'll think landscapers will be easier or med spas are saturated. Again, we're going to fix that once and for all. So let's switch things around here, get a little more positive. The 5 key elements to building a 6 or 7-figure acquisition agency. I'm going to walk you through them all, starting with number 1 is a profitable agency model. And this is the basis of the acquisition agency. We need to make sure that we are in the best model, one that is going to provide you time, location, and financial freedom. Warren Buffett said it best when he said, it doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat you're in. In other words, if you're in a really fast boat that's just going good places, you're going to make a lot more money than if you're working your tail off in a subpar, lesser business model. Not all agencies are created equal. Anonymous smart person. So most agencies fail because they're offering too many services and too many different niches, which makes it impossible to get good results in any one area. There's a lack of clients and spending way too much time on unimportant things. I call these the difference between RGA and NRGA activities. So RGA is revenue generating activities, things like having conversations with clients. NRGA, non-revenue generating activities, are fixing your website, posting random stuff on social media, working on a new logo, that kind of stuff that doesn't actually make money. There's no clear client acquisition sales process, no clear value to the client. We're talking about presenting resistible versus irresistible offers, and they're not set up to succeed from the start. So we've got to fix that. All right, so what is the anatomy of an acquisition agency? Well, you become irresistible to your clients because it gives your clients exactly what they want and nothing they don't. And a bit of an insider secret for you here. Clients only care about one thing, and that's results. Also, an acquisition agency is a lean, mean, profit-producing machine. We create MVAs, minimum viable agencies. Talking about no fancy websites, we do not need to run paid ads, and we don't waste all day on social media. We do targeted, laser-focused activities that make us the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Also, location independent. You can work from anywhere. You can work at any time. You have complete freedom and control. To be honest with you, this to me is my personal driver. This is the biggest driver for all of the decisions that I've made, and the reason that forced me essentially to come up and to design this agency model is that I wanted time freedom and control over my schedule above everything else. I mean, the money is a wonderful, wonderful side effect that I'm not going to argue with, but the ability to have complete control over what you do, where you do it, who you do it with, that to me is real wealth. On the topic of wealth, unlimited profit potential. You're able to start small and scale up whenever you want. 10K per month with your agency really should be your minimum goal. And you're going to find this wonderful sweet spot around 20 to 30K a month where life changes in ways that you can't even imagine. I mean, you're essentially making more than doctors and lawyers and dentists without 7 years of school, without all of the debt, and without having a schedule that you have to stick to. Also, an acquisition agency, easy to deliver. So we're able to automate much of it. Again, remember my core driver here of making sure that we have time freedom. There's low or no fulfillment. In other words, we're using automation and things to do a lot of the work. And of course, we use software and AI to deliver results, which frees up you to do things that are more important to you. All right, the second thing that all successful 6- and 7-figure agencies have is a proven niche. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of a visual reference here, but for context, it took me 3 years to hit $100,000 a month with my first agency. It took me only 30 days to do the same with my second. And the biggest hack that enabled me to do this was nailing the perfect niche. So for context, whole lot of time spent trying to do everything for everyone, whole little bit amount of time just by being focused. Way more money, way less stress, way less effort. So we need to choose the best niche. Now, first rule, you cannot do all things for all the people, and you don't want to anyway. There's going to be people that you just like working with more. Also, maybe you've heard the expression, the riches are in the niches. This is true. We need to be focused. Now, a bit of another insider tip here. Often the quote unquote boring niches are the most profitable, the easiest to deliver, and have the least competition. So think of niches, and I'm going to give you a list here in just a second, but think of the ones that aren't very sexy sounding. They're not very cool sounding. They're not hip and with it, like esports or e-commerce or photography or extreme sports or travel and tourism. Those are the very cool looking, very popular ones that everybody goes to, where the real money can often be found in like septic services, junk removal, plumbing, anything that's dirty and not as sexy. A lot of money there because the masses will swarm to these pretty looking ones. All right, 5 niche golden rules. These are rules that you must follow in order to become incredibly successful, wealthy beyond your wildest dreams, all of that, all of those things. Rule number 1, you got to pick a single niche, not 2, not 3. 4 is definitely out of the question. Now, you're able to change your niche later. This doesn't have to be a forever thing, but you do need to pick a niche and then stick with it as long as possible in order to get started. Also, I'm going to give you a list, but I don't want you to overthink it. There really is no quote unquote magic niche. If there was the perfect niche, then everyone would just go there, in which case it would quickly become saturated and way too competitive, and therefore it would no longer be the perfect niche. So we don't want to pick something where we're going to have to keep changing it every couple months as more and more people swarm into it. All right, rule number 2, the more specific the niche, the better, especially if it's relevant to your interests and experiences. You want to be able to do things differently, better. And the best way to do this is by really knowing and understanding the niche that you're moving into. Now, when you're doing sales, when you're having conversations, it's largely a game of energy, belief, and commitment. And there's an expression that I love, which is you can't fake caring. So it is important to actually like the people that you're doing marketing for, to try to understand where they're coming from and to care about them, because people will be able to get a sense for that, and it'll just make your sales infinitely easier. All right, rule number 3, the niche must need what you're selling. On that note, a mistake that a lot of new agency owners make is starting their agencies with an offer-first mentality. In other words, when I talk to new prospective agency owners or agency owners that are struggling, and I say, well, what do you want to do? They say things like, I want to do Facebook ads, or I want to do SEO, or I want to do appointment booking, or lead gen, or content, whatever it is. That's a mistake. They're focusing on the service first rather than focusing on the niche first, because then you're able to customize and choose the best service for that niche. In other words, if you say I'm going to do Facebook ads and then you decide that you're going to do, I don't know, personal injury lawyers. Well, what if that's not the right service for a personal injury lawyer, which from experience, it's probably not the best one. We'd probably be better with local SEO, maybe some Google ads, maybe some basic automations and things like that. But now you're trying to cram this square peg into all of these different round holes. So you need to make sure that you're focusing on the niche first, and they do need to need what you're selling. In other words, let me come back to that one. It's worth beating up a little bit more here. A bakery down the street that's selling loaves of bread for $5 may technically need what you're selling. But if you don't love working with them, they're not going to be a good fit. And if you're going into it because you think that they're going to be okay for the service that you're offering, they're not going to be a good fit. And of course, there's the whole afford thing. But again, let's talk about that now. The niche must be able to afford it. Let's talk about that bakery. Brand new bakery might desperately need your services, but they're not going to be able to afford a $2,000 per month marketing bill if they're barely breaking even or making $30,000 a year or $60,000 a year, even $100,000 a year. So you want to look for a niche whose customer has a high lifetime value to the business, because you're going to need less customers in order to get that business a high return, a positive return on investment. So we're looking for high ticket services. Again, think of a business that sells something for $500 at the minimum, $2,000, $5,000, $20,000, like the cost of a new roof. Possibly $10,000, $20,000. The cost of a complete bathroom renovation, $3,000, $5,000, $50,000, depending. These are the people that we want to go after. All right, rule number 5, the niche must be in demand and growing. So do customers of the niche want what they're selling? Let's unpack this one for a bit. Is the business or market growing? Is there demand for the services? Example, you don't want to be doing marketing for a newspaper company. Essentially, you need to make sure that the business that you're going after has customers and the customers want what they're selling. So you don't want to be doing marketing for someone that is basically having a hard time selling stuff because nobody wants it. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do to make people want something. The only thing that we can do is to tap into existing demand that's already there. All right, proven and profitable niches. I'll go through this one slow. You can feel free to screenshot it. You can write it down. Of course, like I said at the end, when I'm going to give you my complete agency system and all of the templates and frameworks, we have dozens and dozens more niches that you're going to be able to choose from. But this is just a small sample of some possible options for you to choose from. All of these are proven 7-figure niches, meaning that either I have created an agency that's made $1 million with one of these, or I personally know someone that has. So these have all worked. All right, next thing you need is a high profit offer. Another great quote by Warren Buffett: what you're trying to sell, or what you want to sell, is something that costs a penny, sells for $1, and is habit forming. So what is the anatomy of a high profit offer? We want to focus only on the most desirable and valuable service you can offer to your clients. That's it. The most valuable, the most desirable thing. We don't need to do all of the things for all of the people. Now, when we do it this way, it eliminates the need to offer 20 different services. Also, it delivers results clients actually care about. In other words, results. Sales, not just likes or comments or shares or social reach or making more impressions. Clients, first of all, they do not want it. Even if they say they want it, like I want more likes or I want more reach or I want more people to see my stuff. What they really want is the sales that they believe those are going to generate. So we focus on sales, we focus on money, then you're able to charge more. Also, makes your clients more money and therefore makes you more money. The more money you're able to make your clients, the more money you are going to make yourself. This is what makes this business so incredibly valuable and amazing, is that you're genuinely helping people make more money, and you deserve a portion of the value that you're helping create. Also, it allows you to stand out from every other marketing agency, because no longer are you going to people and saying, we'll create content for you, we'll make some posts, we'll do this random thing that you may or may not care about. Instead, we're going to tie your services to the money that they're going to make. All right, anatomy. Let's break it down even more. Solves one problem. In other words, client acquisition. For one kind of person, think of a local business like a plumber, a contractor, renovations, through one specific path: social media, SEO, missed call text back, AI employees, all kinds of different software and plugins that we can use. It gets results fast and it differentiates you from the competition. Also, high profit margins that put more money in your pocket. I got an example for you here that's going to show just how powerful and how painful this can be if you get it wrong. So let's talk about a low profit offer first. These are things that a lot of agencies offer that do not make a lot of money. Number 1, custom web design. Yes, it might sound great to be able to build a website for $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 until you realize that you cannot replicate this, you cannot scale it, and there is a lot of work and a lot of time, which again, we're trying to build freedom delivering agencies. Custom app development, same thing. Content marketing, these are low profit because clients don't directly equate them to money in their bank. So therefore, we just simply cannot charge enough. Plus, thanks to AI and ChatGPT and budget content agencies all over the world now, the costs are just getting just drilled right down. Social media management, very much the same thing. All we're doing is we're posting. There's software that can do this. There's automation. So we just don't make enough money there. And also advertising. And this is coming from someone who in my agency over my career spent over $70 million on Facebook ads alone. So I do have a soft spot in my heart for ads, but as far as offers go, it's a low profit offer. And here's why. Let's say that we're going to be running ads for a client, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, doesn't matter. And they've got a budget of $5,000 total. This is all in. They've got $5,000 a month to spend. Well, what's going to happen here is they're going to pay you $2,500, and then you're going to need the remainder of that $2,500 to go to the ad spend, right? So Facebook's going to get some money, Instagram's going to get some money, Google's going to get some money, and they're going to get some of your money, because it's not like the client is just going to come up with another $2,500 to pay you your $5,000 and then the $2,500 if that's what they have. So the client doesn't fully understand that you're only making half of that. They get it logically, but emotionally, they still feel like they're paying out $5,000, but you're only getting half of that. High profit offer, on the other hand. These are things that we'll use tools, we'll use software, and they enable us to do things like missed call text back. So if somebody calls, they miss the call, we can text them back. Web chat widget. We can put an actual chat widget on a client's website, and then we can have a conversation with potential clients. We can use AI to do that as well. Google Business Chat, call to action forums, online reputation management, probably one of my favorite, along with review requests, where we can actually go out there and help the client get more positive 5-star reviews for their business, customer re-engagement campaigns. These are all free, which means, I don't know, say we have $50 in software costs per client. So if they've got a budget of $5,000 a month, we do all of these things for them. You're now walking away with $4,950 a month per client, opposed to $2,500. That adds up very quickly. So other high profit offers, web design templates. We don't do custom work. We have templates that the client can choose from. We can make a few quick tweaks. We can send it out there. And of course, all the others I talked about, missed call, text back, AI employee, all of these other things. Google business page SEO, actually very easy to do with software. Again, pop quiz, my friend. Clients only care about one thing. What is that one thing? Results. They don't care how hard you work. They don't care what you do. They don't care how you do it. They care about the results that you're able to deliver. Now, okay, lastly, what do we got to do? We have to make it impossible to fail. If we make the client do too much work, they just won't do it because they're busy. So we need to make sure that we're setting up the systems and the processes and the automations and the AI and all of that so that we can do all this for them. We use systems and automations to make sure things get done. We show the client our work. We show them what we're doing and the results we've been generating. Most agencies way under communicate. Another pro tip for you here. So you want to make sure that you're, especially in the early days, way over communicating with your clients. This means regular quick updates. You can send a quick email. You can make a quick Loom video that just screen shares a few things. But most clients really have no idea what the agency is doing. And therefore it just becomes way too easy to close the contract and to move on. So we show them everything we're doing all of the time. And we empower them by giving them everything that they need to succeed. All right, let's talk about this. How do we 4x the revenue, which is closer to 7x and 10x if we do this right? Well, one of my secret weapons is super stack services. So what we do to make sure that we're not confusing the client is we sell one service to solve one problem. That's it. That's the main thing. So in other words, we will help you make more sales for free without spending $1 on ads. The way that we do that is we use something called a customer reactivation campaign, where we basically go through their existing customers. We give them an irresistible offer. They respond back to the business. They make a whole lot more sales. You look like a marketing superhero. That's one problem with one thing. Then we sell the next service to solve the next problem. Maybe they don't have enough reviews. Maybe they're lagging behind their competition in regards to their online reputation. We can then sell that. Then we sell the next thing to solve the next problem. What you do not want to do is what 99% of agencies do, which is they bundle a million different things. We do websites and social media and Facebook ads and SEO and this and this and this and this, and then we just dump it on the clients all at once. First of all, it's super overwhelming. The clients don't know what it is. It looks like just so much stuff all at once. It's also counterproductive. Also, they're going to feel like they're paying for things that they're not even using and don't understand. And therefore, it's going to be way too easy for them to start getting rid of things and to start, I don't want this, I don't want that, and to start sort of like removing all of your profit. All right, the number 4 thing you need, predictable client acquisition. What this does is it unlocks consistent and predictable revenue for you and for your agency. It gets rid of this feast and famine cycle where an agency will get a bunch of clients and do a bunch of work and then have to go back out and get them all over again and then have nothing and then go. And we replace it with feast and feast. Also, get clients on command, as many as you want, whenever you want. Also, it positions you as the authority. So clients, when they show up to you, they show up pre-sold and ready to buy. And this makes sales calls so much easier because we're not really doing a sales call anymore. We're not pitching them. We're not pushing anything on them. We're simply showing them the solutions that we have that can help them solve the problems. And then they say, yeah, I'd like some help with that. And we can sort of enroll them as a client. Also, complete freedom, time and finances. So let me show you what a predictable client acquisition system looks like. First of all, we use some kind of connection, right? We could use inbound marketing or outbound marketing. We can use content marketing. We can use outreach, whatever it is, but we need some way to get in front of our ideal clients. Then we do something called a collaborative close. Now, this is where we eliminate the traditional sales call. Why are you calling? What's your problem? How bad does that hurt? What if we could solve that? None of that nonsense. People are far too sophisticated. It feels too slimy and sleazy and salesy for me. What we're going to do is we're going to present our findings kind of like in a diagnostic approach, like a doctor would. So you go see a doctor, he asks a bunch of questions. How you feeling? How's your neck hurt? What about this? What about that? And then we can talk about prescribing a solution. What the doctor doesn't do is you walk into their office and they're like, here, take this. Like, you didn't even ask me any questions. It just feels weird. And then of course we can just close them by saying, would you like help with that? That, my friend, is my $1 million sales closing line. By all means, feel free to steal it. Would you like help with that? And all this works is I outline their problems, make sure that they're asking the right questions. They tell me what they are. I evaluate them and I say, yeah, I think you should probably do this. You should do that. That sounds good. We should probably do some of this. And I think if you did that, that would work. They say, that sounds great. I say, would you like help with it? They say, yes. I say, fantastic. Sign here, dot here, and we can get started. Now, let's talk about numbers. If you make 100 connections, which by the way, you can do simply by looking through your emails, your contact list on your phone, you can start reaching out to 100 connections, your social media contacts. Let's say you book 4 calls. So 4% of those people say, yeah, I'm interested in hearing more. And then because you're brand new in sales, we only close 1 in 4. Well, this means you now get a client from those connections. This means if we're charging $1,500 a month, well, just from that alone, we now have a $1,500 a month agency. But this is where things get cool. Let's say we up that 1,000 connections, which really isn't that much. We can build these up over time. We can start reaching out to more people. We can start sending some emails or sending a couple direct messages. So now we book 40 calls and we have 10 clients. Well, now we're at $15,000 a month. And if we're doing a good job selling clients and providing the service, this isn't a one-time fee. This is $15,000 every month. And then if we can keep doing this, well, we could have $15,000 the first month, you could have $30,000 the next, $45,000 the next, and so on. But let's say that we decide to go crazy. Let's just pull out all the stops here. 10,000 connections, which again, using software and using automations, we can do it actually the push of a button. In fact, there's many different kinds of software. We can just literally click a button and it'll send 10,000 outreach requests to different clients through email, through LinkedIn, through anything like that. We take 400 calls, we book 100 clients, we charge $1,500 a month. Well, now the agency is making $150,000 a month, which I appreciate. The first time I saw these numbers, I thought they were completely insane and unreasonable. But I can tell you after years of doing this, these are very achievable numbers. These numbers are actually done with the right strategies, with the right work in place. You can completely change your life in ways that could have never even imagined before. All right, let's talk about the no-fail sales system, because one of the biggest objections and fears that a lot of people have is these sales calls. Hopefully, I helped you overcome some of those fears by talking about the diagnostic approach, where we go in there, we ask a bunch of questions, then we present our solution. But another thing you can do is use waterfall pricing. So the first thing that you do when you're presenting different packages to clients is you start with the highest price offer. And the reason that we're doing this is because of the psychological phenomenon known as price anchoring, which is the first number that you hear is going to reference and influence all of the other numbers that come after that. So if we say, yeah, our high-end package is $10,000 a month. I don't think it's the best fit for you, but I just thought I'd walk you through it now anyway. Then what we can do is we can outline 1 to 3 packages from there based on their needs. And of course, I like having a downsell, a DIY offer up my sleeve. So if I'm pitching to a client and I said, look, first offer is this, I don't think it's right for you, but I feel it's my duty to walk you through it anyway. It's $10,000 a month. We do this, this, this. The other option that I think is probably a better fit is $2,500 a month. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. How does that sound? And if they say, that sounds great, I'm in, we're good. If on the other hand, they say, that's way too much, I can't afford it, something, we can have kind of our ace up our sleeve, which is this DIY option where we give them access to our marketing systems and our software. Traditionally, this is known as SaaS, or software as a service. And then we can just hand everything over to them for $497 a month. They're free to run it on their own, and you don't have to do any fulfillment work, but are still able to recover some revenue from that sale. Important note here, another pro insider tip: do not reduce the price without removing services. So if you've got a package at $2,500 a month and it includes A, B, and C, and they say, I've only got $1,500 a month. You say, no problem, let's get rid of C, or let's get rid of B. We'll just give you A. The reason is we do not discount just for the sake of discounting. We have to remove prices because otherwise it makes us look like we're not really that sure of the value that we're providing. Whereas you, as a smart, sophisticated, new or existing business owner, you know that, well, this stuff is valuable. It can really help them. So we need to make sure that we price it accordingly. All right. The fifth thing that all successful 6- and 7-figure agencies have is a millionaire marketer mindset. Now, the big thing is this spectrum. I want you to imagine a spectrum from left side to right side with this committed versus interested. And you've got to ask yourself where you fall on this spectrum because it really will make all the difference for your success. In other words, if you're interested in changing your life and starting an agency and in becoming financially free, you're going to do what's convenient. On the other hand, if you're committed, you're going to do what it takes. And that, my friend, is literally the difference. I'm giving you all of the pieces here, all of the stuff in the training, and I've got a whole bunch more valuable free bonuses that I'm going to give you at the end. You're going to have all of the tools that are required, all of the raw materials. The thing that's going to make the biggest difference on whether you succeed or not is your level of commitment. Are you committed? Is this the time? Are you going to do this? Are you committed to making it happen? Because if so, there's nothing that can stop you. Next, high achieving, goal-oriented, and ambitious. Very important factors. So do you have goals? Why do you have these goals? What does it mean for you and for your family to achieve them? Growth-minded. You have to understand and appreciate that we as humans are not fixed beings. We can change. We can learn new things. Our personalities can change. Just think of who you are today versus who you were 10 years ago or 20 years ago even. Very, very different people. Also, most people normally make a forcing function. Now, a forcing function is kind of like painting yourself into the corner, right? So you basically make it so there's no way out. You have to succeed. You got to break through that wall or there's no other way out. Now, they've done studies and normally this is made financially where somebody puts a bit of skin in the game and then they're 5 times more likely to actually achieve those goals. I've got something for you that's completely free. So we're going to have to find another way to use a financial forcing function. Maybe you can buy yourself a fancy computer or something like that that's dedicated for marketing, whatever it is. Typically, a forcing function will help you achieve your goals faster. Of course, do not go into debt. Do not make financial things that you cannot afford at this point. There are smarter ways. And like I said, I'm giving you everything for free. Also, counterintuitively, this may not make a lot of sense, but the best marketers in the world also often suffer from imposter syndrome. This feeling that they're not good enough. I don't know what it takes. There's other people that are better at this. Why me? I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. These feelings are normal. The only way to really get over them is to just start taking small actions, just to start putting those pieces together and start going step by step. The key word there, my friend, is action. The most successful people, actually anybody that's successful in this game, they have something called a bias towards action, which means they act before they feel ready. If you're sitting there and you're waiting until you finally feel ready, I promise you that day will never come. Like I mentioned back in my early part of this presentation where I was talking about essentially having a nervous breakdown and quitting flying forever, I wish that I had been more strategic about it and I'd planned things better, but essentially I just couldn't do it. And so therefore I was all out and therefore I was all in on this new thing. I was not ready, but that is what enabled me to make such massive progress is I dove in and I was like, now is the time. We are making this happen. Again, remember, commitment versus just interest. All right, I also want to share with you something called the 4 C's formula by Dan Sullivan, because this is going to help show you how you're going to, quote unquote, feel ready and what you're going to do. Now, when you set a big goal, something that's way beyond anything that you've ever done before, and you don't yet have the capability to do it, you need to start with commitment. This is the very first step. That then leads to courage. You make the commitment, then you get the courage, which is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act in spite of the fear that you feel. Everybody feels scared when they're doing something new. The courage then leads you to develop the capabilities. This is learning the skills, doing the practices, learning the software, creating the campaigns, but you cannot have the capability before you make the commitment and have the courage. Because if you have the capability, we wouldn't need any of these other steps, right? You wouldn't be where you are right now looking to get to that next level. And it's through that we lead to confidence. So confidence comes from evidence, but there is an order, and this is the order that we have to take. We start with commitment. Then we build the courage to just go and do it. We're going to feel the fear anyway. We just have to move through it. This then leads to the capabilities that you're going to need. And once you have those capabilities, you have unstoppable confidence. You're now able to produce. You're able to live on your own terms. You're able to live a life according to your values. Good things happen. So let me ask you, how would it feel? Instead of hearing from clients, I'll think about it, or can I sleep on it and get back to you, or I'll just buy from your competition, you're hearing thank you. Can I pay you now? And please help me. How would it feel to wake up happy and confident because you know that your agency is busy and profitable and in demand, not just today, but for weeks and months and years to come? Also, how would it feel to have a real autopilot system, something that works while you sleep and consistently pulls in clients around the clock, even when you're on vacation? And you have an overflow of clients, so you're able to be picky about who you serve and how you serve them. Now, a caveat. Here's what most people are not going to tell you. Building a successful agency, it's not easy. It requires massive action and tactical investments, essentially everything that we've talked to up until this point. And it's not going to happen overnight. It can happen quickly, but not overnight. But once you know how to do this, you get to live the life that other people say is impossible. I'm talking about 4-hour workdays, 3-month vacations, $1 million years. You also have complete control over what you work on and who you work with. And you have the freedom to do everything that you want and nothing that you don't. For example, this is a tour that we took this year. I took my family all around Europe for 3 months. We flew into Malta, we went to Italy, we went to Spain and Portugal. This is a image on a video that I made of a manor house that we stayed at in England that cost $100,000 a month, which is an insane amount of money to spend. But again, when you're living the kind of life that others say is impossible, it just, everything changes by taking these actions, by going through these steps in ways that, it's funny, I get emotional just thinking about it, because if you look at my life 10, 15 years ago, it was just so dramatically different. And the thing that changed all of that was, again, going through those steps of like making the commitment, deciding like all in that I was going to make this actually work. And now, we're taking 3-month trips around Europe with 4 kids, flying first class all around the world, and taking them to Hawaii whenever we want, and making sure they're in the top schools, and all of these things that are just so incredibly important. I still drive a minivan. I'm still a very normal, average dude outside of a few exceptional things that these agencies have enabled me to do. Now, sadly, there is a flip side to do this, which is if you don't know how to do this, you're going to consistently hear no thanks, or I'm not sure I can afford this, or I'll just buy from whoever. You're going to be up and down emotionally and financially, which I can tell you from experience is not a fun place to be. You're going to experience inconsistent and cyclical up and down weeks and months, and that's going to spill over and negatively affect you and your family. And really, we don't want any of that. You become a servant to your agency, always feeling like you're not doing enough. And all of this leads to making bad business and marketing decisions because you're operating from a place of fear instead of power and confidence. So a quick recap, what we covered today. Talked about a profitable agency model, why the acquisition agency is the ideal model to create time, financial, and location freedom. We talked about a proven niche, the importance of it and how to pick it. We talked about a high profit offer, what that looks like, what it doesn't look like when we're losing half of our ad spend to Facebook and Instagram and things like that. Talked about the importance of predictable client acquisition so we can get new clients whenever we want on demand. Too busy? We can stop it for a while. Want some more? We just turn the machine back on. And of course, the millionaire marketer mindset that is that sort of keystone to making all of this work. Understanding that we have to make that commitment first, then we get the courage by feeling the fear, but acting anyway. This leads to the capabilities. This leads to the ultimate confidence. Now, having these 5 elements working for you gives you a clear path to building a wildly profitable 6 or 7-figure agency so you can achieve time, financial, and location freedom. All right, you got some choices. I've done what I said I was going to do and broken down the 5 biggest elements I've found to help you build a 6 or 7-figure acquisition agency. Now, you, my friend, get to decide what kind of agency owner you want to be, successful or struggling. Option 1, Back to grinding it out with overwhelming, underperforming, and stressful marketing. Back to being stuck in this struggling zone and having a lot of desire, but no real clarity on how to actually get to the successful zone. You can say, hey, thanks, Adam, but I think I'd like to go back to doing things my way. Not making enough, not having enough opportunity, and trying to figure this all out on myself and on my own. And honestly, my friend, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is another option. Option 2. You can say, I've had enough struggling, and I'm sick of never being sure what to do or how to do it. I'm sick of letting my business and my marketing control me instead of the other way around. It's time to take control. You ultimately have control over the things you do, and it's up to you to decide if growing your business and creating better and more effective marketing is an important goal of yours or not. You can say, hey, I want to build this out with you because you've done it for yourself and for countless others, and I know you can do it for me too. My recommendation is to not let this be just another moment where you learn something, then walk away. There is an easier and faster way, which is mentorship from someone who has a proven roadmap to follow, someone who's actually done it multiple times for themselves and many others. So, if you want proven results and you want them fast, you got a choice to make. If you want to build and start a profitable digital marketing agency, well, got some good news. Right now, I'm giving away my complete proven agency growth system. These are the exact steps I use to build multiple 7-figure agencies and work with clients like Google, Amazon, Meta, and it's totally free. Essentially, you're going to get everything you need to get started and to succeed. This is not just another course. What you're getting is a complete proven framework that gives you everything you need. I'm talking about high converting templates and client getting scripts and sales funnels, all of which have been tested and perfected over the past decade with thousands of clients. I'm going to show you exactly what to sell, how to sell it, and who to sell it to so you can start making money online as early as this week. And here's where it gets really exciting. I'm also including a free 30-day trial to HighLevel, which is the all-in-one marketing software that I use where everything is already pre-built and ready for you to use. Essentially, all you have to do is click join. You'll see a link that looks like this. Want instant access to my proven and profitable system? You click yes, import now, and it gets directly ported into your account. Everything we talked about. So you're getting fully set up websites, talking about all of these templates and so many more, including fully built out SaaS businesses, doing AI automations for businesses, doing reputation management and getting them reviews, all of the workflows, all of the templates, all of the onboarding and the forms and everything like that. You're getting automated client attracting funnels. Again, whether you want to sell marketing services, whether you're trying to do lead gen, whether you're setting up your own agencies, all of these templates, all of these websites are all included inside of the snapshot that I've got for you down below. You're also getting proven client getting scripts. Never are you going to have to worry again about how to get clients because I'm going to give you a collection of my absolute best performing scripts to use with clients. You can send these via email, you can send them via direct message, you can send them over a text message, you can have a conversation with someone. And there's not just a few like you see on the page. We've got dozens and dozens and dozens, and we've labeled the ones proven winners that just continue to generate leads, clients, and sales for our agencies time and time again. So you can just copy and paste those directly over. And of course, ready-made templates. What I'm talking about here are full automations like missed call text back. You don't need to design this. You don't need to invent it. You can just copy this snapshot over and now you're able to offer this service. Social media lead generation. We can do this as well. Just copy this work funnel over and it's already installed in your account. Reactivation campaigns. This is a crowd favorite among clients because this is the offer that allows us to say we're going to help you generate 10, 20, 30 new sales without spending a single penny on ad spend. The way we do it, reactivation campaigns. Reputation management, another one of my absolute personal favorites. In fact, one of the business agencies in a box you're going to get access to is called Trustify Marketing. And you're going to be able to go out there and just start selling reviews and helping small businesses get more positive reviews on Google. And the automation takes care of pretty much everything. And of course, an AI employee, which is probably one of the coolest things. Again, I would want you to focus more on reputation management, but as far as cool stuff goes, this one's hard to beat. And what this is it allows someone to call a business, and after 3 rings, it automatically transfers over to a full automated AI voice. But it's not a sketchy, bad AI voice like you get sometimes when you call the bank. This one's actually really good. And the reason that it's good is because of this prompt right here that we have spent countless hours adapting and modifying and tweaking so that when someone calls, they're able to talk to someone that sounds like a real human. They're able to get their questions answered, collect contact information, and you can offer and sell this to your clients and of course keep 100% of the profits. This agency in a box is yours to plug right into HighLevel, so you can start landing clients from day one with zero risk. Thanks to a 30-day extended free trial, you're able to test drive everything that we've talked about here and start making money before you spend even a single penny. So, plus, in order to make sure that you're set up for success, you're also going to be getting 24/7 support from our team of experts. You're going to get access to a private members-only community. You're going to get daily live coaching calls for real-time feedback. And for a limited time, you're going to have access to a free one-on-one kickoff call to set everything up together. That's right. We're going to go in there with the team, set all of your systems up, make sure that you're fully set up for success. So even if you're brand new to the software, you're still going to walk away with a viable, functioning agency that you can go out right away and start using. I got to say, my recommendation here is to not miss this chance to start seeing results right away. So tap the link in the descriptions, tap the link in the top comment. You can visit growmyagencynow.com. You can scan the QR code. I'm really trying to make sure that you don't miss out on this opportunity, but regardless, make sure to get started today. And I can't wait to help you build something incredible. All right. Thanks, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.